Welcome to Illustrious Magic. This is Steven. So I just watched Resurrection F. It's basically the newest Dragon Ball Z film. I was a big fan of Dragon Ball Z growing up on Toonami and Cartoon Network. It was a great show for me. Kind of really filled my imagination with lots of weird characters and power levels and transformations and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. Never really caught on to the Dragon Ball, which was the original manga series with Goku as a small child, and it was a lot more lighthearted, lots of adventure, that type of stuff. So recently, they also released Battle of the Gods, which of course was very popular. Dragon Ball Z was back. It was a big deal. And it also was kind of a return, at least for a majority of the beginning of the film, to the lighthearted nature of the older Dragon Ball. So Dragon Ball Z Battle, or Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, which revolves all around Frieza coming back, is kind of a return to the Dragon Ball Z standalone films as well as the action center. And that's really emphasized by how quickly they get into the action. So the introduction is basically there's this alien who has taken charge of Frieza's regime and army and is looking for the Namekians on planet Namek. Namekians, Namek, ooh, so complex. Basically to find the Dragon Balls in order to bring Frieza back from the dead. So they're unable to do so, so of course they come to Earth, because why not? So they get the Dragon Balls, but the way they do this is very strange. Basically, they cut immediately from, hey, we found these people with our spy drones, I guess, that have the Dragon Balls, and oh, it just happens to be Goku's old rival, Emperor Pilaf, I think is his name, with his little dog guy, and then the girl as well. I forget why they were children. I never actually watched Battle of the Gods all the way through, so I'm not quite sure where that happens. I know I believe they were in GT, but of course everyone hates GT. It's not canon, stuff like that. But anyway, they immediately cut to then the alien, whose name I forget because he's not that memorable. He is now on Earth, and he already has 7 Dragon Balls, and then his little partner dude goes down and gets the 7th one. Then they grant the wishes. They bring Frieza back, and they put him in like this weird. It was actually a good scene, where because of the way Frieza died, he got cut up by Trunks and then blasted by his Kai. So basically, when he's resurrected, he ends up coming back in chunks. So they have this funny part where there's like an eye of Frieza who appears and it like opens up and freaks the little guys out. And then the guy tells them to go get a can, and they basically put the chunks of Frieza in the can. So that part was kind of funny. But yeah, they immediately then go to show, oh, Frieza's back. Then he kind of, does his usual thing of like, oh, everyone is lesser than me, blah, blah, blah. Kills the dude, kind of tries to exert his power to figure out what's going on. And then they introduce a cool idea, which is basically that Frieza never trained before. So he was like super powerful in that Frieza arc of Dragon Ball Z when they're on Namek. And that was without him ever training, which was kind of cool because a big part of Dragon Ball Z was training. There was lots and lots of sections where the Z fighters would train in order to become stronger to fight the villain who, of course, somehow was exponentially stronger than the last one they faced. Whatever. It's a story arc. So, in this one, to see Frieza actually have to train, even though you never see him train, it was a cool concept. There was a lot of parts, especially in the beginning, that just felt like they cut a lot, just because of how quickly it went from one thing to the next. And the next big cut was basically from Frieza being like, all right, I'm going to train for 4 months, and then I should be powerful enough. How he knows that, I don't know. So he does that, and then all of a sudden now the ship lands on Earth. There is a small scene before, not like a small scene, but a short time of scenes where the alien Galactic Patrolman comes back to warn Bulma. Never seen him before. I know he's apparently been in some other kind of spin-off Dragon Ball stuff, but he is canon and a character, and he was a cool character. I liked him, even if his gymnastic stuff was a little weird when he was being chased by Frieza's henchmen. But yeah, so basically Frieza shows up, and then that's when we finally get to like the main chunk of the film, which is just Frieza's henchmen fighting the usual Z fighters, even though they are missing quite a few. They even make a reference to Android 18 saying that she's much stronger than Krillin, but Krillin says that she has to stay home to watch the kid. Why? Who knows? It was kind of dumb. And then she also says he's so cool as he flies away, and it just didn't make much sense. Then they leave Yamcha and Chaozu and Majin Buu even, which is kind of weird because he's supposed to be really powerful. Although I guess without his evil self inside of him, he was, I guess, powered down. I don't know. I thought he was still actually pretty good at the end of the Buu saga, but whatever. They also introduce another cool little thing, which is basically that During the time between the Majin Buu saga and Battle of the Gods, I guess you could say, Gohan didn't train at all because there wasn't a reason for him to. And so because of that, he actually got, kind of fell out of shape and isn't as powerful as he could have been, which is actually like a cool concept of training actually was very necessary for these people, and if they did not do it, they wouldn't have been able to really handle any of the threats that came. And so for Goku and Vegeta to be the only ones who are constantly training, it kind of makes sense why they're always the ones who have to save the day, which of course happens in this film too. But it happens very strangely where they continually reference like 2 or 3 times, enough that I noticed about, oh, Goku and Vegeta would be so much stronger if they just fought together. And it kind of like felt like they were foreshadowing something, but it never actually pays off because Goku fights Frieza for majority of the time. Goku has a new form, surprise, and then Frieza has a new form, surprise. Dragon Ball Z was all about attaining new forms with crazy new visual effects and stuff like that. So it's kind of, I guess, traditional that they return to that. I know they did that already with the Super Saiyan God transformation in Battle of the Gods, but it was kind of okay because it wasn't Super Saiyan 4 or Super Saiyan 3, which did look kind of dumb with the really super long hair. Um, and so, also a little side note is they never refer to it as Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. Goku just says that the blue hair is him attaining the Super Saiyan God form without having to have the help of the other Saiyans. So I don't know. It was kind of weird for me just to, because in the marketing and the lead up to the film and even after the film came out, everyone was talking about Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, and stuff like that. But in the film itself, they never actually say that. They just kind of reference it as, oh, he can now do it by himself. So it's kind of like it's still the same thing, I guess. Whatever, but I guess maybe he's honed it, which is why it's blue instead of red, like Kaioken was. Maybe they just wanted to have blue colors instead of the usual red and gold or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was a fine film. It wasn't particularly great. There were some like cool moments, I guess, mostly in the fighting. The whole henchman using the laser as the contingency plan, or I guess it was his ring laser, to like hit Goku and pretty much kill him, was kind of funny because it made me think about how, like, okay, are guns effective in this? I know they kind of like they kind of took that on head on when Raditz invaded and the dude had like a shotgun, the farmer, and it didn't really do anything to Raditz. Um, so for him to like get shot by the laser, I don't know if, I guess it's probably just something that they're referencing because earlier in the film, Whis says that Goku's weakness is basically always being overconfident and leaving himself open to attack. So I guess that's basically that moment where Goku was so overconfident that he had won, that he left himself open for the laser to basically go through his chest and pretty much kill him, unless the sensu beam, unless he got the sensu beam. I mean, also the sensu beam is really the miracle cure because that thing heals him in no time. So that was weird. The only other main criticism, I guess, would be that Vegeta doesn't do anything in this film. I know he didn't do a lot in Battle of the Gods, but he did have some really good parts where, or not good parts, but good scenes where he would, he was dancing and embarrassing himself in order to protect his family and Earth from Beerus, and that was cool. That was good development from him, always being like the stubborn guy that he is. So in Battle of the Gods, he also had that really cool scene where he, powered up to Super Saiyan after Beerus hits Bulma, and basically is actually does really well for a bit and surpasses Goku in power, before, of course, getting slapped and then having to help Goku beat him. But yeah, he really doesn't do anything in this film. He shows up in the end and powers up to his own, Super Saiyan God form, and then he's about to like kill Frieza, which would kind of be a great arc for him because killing Frieza is kind of the thing that he was obsessed with in the Namek saga. It was the reason why he wanted immortality. He was also very afraid of Frieza in the Namek saga, so to see that kind of be turned around was cool. But I felt like he really should have gotten the satisfaction of killing Frieza because Frieza was the responsible for killing the Saiyan race, which was something Vegeta was obsessed with for quite a while in the early arcs of Dragon Ball Z. So it was just kind of like, whatever. Also, the whole temporal resetting thing was very heavily foreshadowed, even though it was supposed to be like a throwaway line earlier in the film that Whis was like, oh yeah, I can reset time by like 3 minutes or whatever. It's like, oh, yeah, I think that's going to come in handy later. So I don't know. It's whatever, but it was a fine film. I was actually thinking it was going to be better than it was, so I was like somewhat disappointed. And I wasn't even like super hyped for it or anything. I didn't see it in the theater. I was just kind of like, I'll watch it when I watch it. You know, I enjoy Dragon Ball, but I'm not going to like go out of my way to find it and enjoy it. And I've heard some like mixed things about Dragon Ball Super. I've watched like a few YouTube videos, like everyone does, like kind of show like the highlights of it. And it seems kind of cool. You know, they're building up to this, I guess, another grand tournament because they always have to. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But yeah, I don't know. Resurrection F was fine. I guess the best part was really when the song played, even though it was a really short thing too. Even, I mean, the title of the movie is kind of based on the song, so it's like weird for the song to only appear for like a very short time. It felt so, but I don't know. Whatever. It was okay. So that's really all I have to say about it. But if you like the dumb videos that I do, you can see the other stuff that me and my friends do on the channel Illustrious Magic. You can follow me on Twitter. And as always, thank you for watching.